The chairman of the Presidential Task Force, members of the Presidential Task Force, ladies and gentlemen of the press, good evening. The Presidential Task Force continues to be very concerned about the level of compliance with the eased lockdown guidelines that we introduced last week across the country, but most especially in Lagos. We have called on state security agencies and state structures to provide support and supervision that will ensure compliance to the eased lockdown guidance. In this regard, we are appealing strongly to the public to cooperate with the state security agencies in the interest of public safety. There's a very good reason why the PTF eased the lockdown last week. One, it was partly because we wanted to provide an opportunity to cushion Nigerians, and by extension, an opportunity for businesses to re-establish some economic activity towards the gradual reopening of the Nigerian economy. Secondly, we also had a bundle of measures which we realized, if fully implemented, if fully delivered by everybody, would have the same impact as that of an absolute lockdown. I must emphasize that the COVID pandemic in Nigeria is far from over. Our chances of coming out of this crisis sooner rather than later depends on our absolute compliance to the eased lockdown guidelines. The guidelines have specific aspects within them that I would like to emphasize. Apart from the mandatory overnight curfew nationwide from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m., we have also provided guidance to banks with regards to access and ensuring that physical distancing applies, as well as rules around mass gatherings. We have provided guidance on opening times for buses and motor parks, for construction sites, and for restaurants, where we have allowed restaurants to operate only as take-out services, with no eating inside restaurants allowed. In terms of case management, we would like to again appeal to state governments, particularly those who are yet to ensure the provision of isolation facilities, to please make sure that they have at least 300 beds available per state so that they can isolate persons that are positive with COVID infection. It is particularly important that when it comes to isolation facilities, that appropriate prioritization is placed on those that have mild or no symptoms. This group of persons with COVID infection should not be placed in a hospital environment. They are better off being placed in a non-hospital environment, such as hotels, where they will be comfortably looked after because they do not require any specific monitoring or treatment. And it will be much cheaper for state governments to adopt this approach for the 80% of those that will be positive with COVID infection, and allow hospital beds and medical facilities to be used for those that require them most. In terms of other issues, I would like to again emphasize the need for us all to take personal responsibility for our health, as well as the health of our loved ones and our community. We need to be aware of our physical space. We need to be very observant of the persons around us and of the need to maintain physical distancing, as well as avoiding mass gatherings. We must do everything to prevent another spike in the spread of the virus during the eased lockdown phase. In terms of additional information, just wanted to let the public know of our website, which is www.statehouse.gov.ng/COVID-19. We can also be contacted via email, which is ptfcovid19@osgf.gov.ng. Finally, I would like to acknowledge contributions from the following organizations: Flood Relief Fund, Tagaco Chemicals, Mercury Industries, and a wide range of Nigerian citizens who, in their own individual way, supported this cause. Thank you for your contributions and support.